Hello everyone, welcome to the Collabshare channel. This is the video number 8 in the startup documentary playlist, and in this video we're going to talk about the initial architecture for the Collabshare platform, and after that we will install Docker desktop and also enable Kubernetes for our future tasks. So let's see. As we discussed in the previous sessions, we want to design an event-driven architecture for our platform, and we want to start with the simplest possible solution that we can start with. So we want to start our platform with an initial event-driven microservice architecture for our platform. And in this initial architecture, we will have three main services: S1, S2, and S3. These are our main three services that we want to analyze and design. The most important service that we want to design is our Django service, which is responsible for collaborators management, and also it will also be used as API gateway. So every request from clients first will reach to our Django service, and it will either manage the collaborators or it will send the requests to other services, as it is also an API gateway. And as you remember, we don't use the term users, and we, instead of users, we will call our platform's contributors as collaborators. Every person who contributes to the Collabshare platform is called a collaborator, and our Django will manage collaborators, and these tasks include logging, logout, sign up, email verification, password recovery, and or social logging, such as, for example, logging via GitHub or Facebook account, and such tasks. So these are the initial tasks are our Django microservice. So assume that our collaborator sends a request, for example, sign up request for our Django service, and Django receives that request and creates the collaborator's account and emits an event such as collab created. This event will go to our message broker, and which we will use RabbitMQ as our message queue or message broker. And this event will also consumed by other services. So our Django service will produce an event, and our other services will be used or will consume that event. And so our second service is message broker, and our third service is a Node.js and Neo4j microservice, which we will use Neo4j as our graph database to store collaborators' relationship in our Neo4j database, and Node.js will be used as our backend software to handle those events and actually create connections or create relationships in our Neo4j database based on the events that it receives. And this is the initial structure, initial architecture actually of our Collabshare platform. To achieve scalability, we will use both Docker and Kubernetes technologies from the beginning. So each of our services will be inside a Docker container, and all of these containers will be orchestrated with the Kubernetes technologies. So in this session we will install Docker and Kubernetes in our development workstation, and beginning from the next session we will start to develop our Django and other microservices as we will go down the road. So let's get started and start to install these two technologies in our platform. Now that we have a clear understanding of what we want to design, let's first go to docker.com and install Docker Desktop in our platform. It is pretty straightforward to install Docker Desktop software in your platform, and after installing Docker Desktop you just also need to create an account in docker.com. I have created an account. I'm just logging into my account, and as I have installed Docker in my workstation, I just need to run the Docker software. Docker Desktop, and let's wait until it it takes a little time to starting and initializing. Now let's sign into our account, proceed to Docker, and after doing these steps we have a working Docker Desktop software in our platform. To install Kubernetes, just go to the Docker Desktop settings, to the Kubernetes section, and enable Kubernetes. Apply and restart, and it will install required libraries in order to be able to use Kubernetes in your development journey. So it will install the required software, and we also need another tool. Actually, we need Kubernetes CLI or command line interface to be able to interact with Kubernetes. So to do so, let's install kubectl kubectl install for, so head to the Kubernetes documents in this web address, and based on your platform you can install kubectl on your platform. It is pretty straightforward. I don't do these steps here. You just need to install based on your workstation. There are various methods to install. For example, for macOS, based on using Intel or Apple Silicon, you have different command line options and other methods. For example, you can install using brew in macOS, and for other platforms or for other workstations there are also different approaches. After installing kubectl, you just need to check if you have installed it correctly. If you see an output like this for the kubectl command, yeah, you have completely installed your kubectl CLI. Now that we have installed Docker and Kubernetes in our workstation platform, beginning from the next session, we will start developing our microservices, and we will Dockerize our microservices, and also we will use Kubernetes to orchestrate our Docker containers. So these are just our tasks for this session. Thank you for watching.